Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, which means peace on you. So let's move on to the second part, which is how to make this reflective water or shadow or whatever you wanna call it. So okay, first of all, I don't really like this blue that's going on here. So let's just take this violet and remove the blue and push the violet back. Okay. One other thing I didn't point out on this, the previous tutorial is here. I've changed this value actually. When you hold Alt and click here, when you click it twice, you will have this 32 bit, which will give a longer range of colors, and it's most usually better for this kind of backgrounds or this kind of lighting. It gives this interesting effect. You can compare. Look, this is 8 and this is 32. 8, 32. Just small difference, but if it affects the speed of your system, you can keep it 8. It's not a really big difference. Okay, let's move. So save this. We can create a new composition. This composition we call it form comp, for example. It should be the same composition and as the original of the other one, so it will be the same resolution and everything. We will take what we could do here is we can duplicate this, the main composition, and we will call this particles, just our particle comp, or we will call it our map, particle map, or anything you want. We will open this particle map. We will remove many things that we don't need. Mostly we don't need the background, so we can keep the others. We don't need the lighting also, but it's alright, we can keep it if you want. So let's go to our form comp. Now in our form composition, we'll take the map here. We don't need it now, we will disable it. So let's create a new solid. Form, apply the form effect. Again, it's Trapcode form. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? Let's start by, normally if we create a camera, you can see, if we create a camera, rotate it, you can see that it's basically 3 layers. This is our layers. This is the particles in Z. We can increase these layers, and the size, it actually increases the size of these layers in the X, and there is the size in Y, and also of course the size in Z, which makes this distance. And you can increase the particles in Z, which will create more layers, or just increase the particles in X or in Y. This is not important now, just a quick review of what is base form or form. Many of you already know this, so it doesn't matter. Let's go back to reset our camera. We don't need it now, let's disable it. Okay, let's make the size as the size of our comp, which is like this, I think. This full HD, yes. 1920 and 1080 80. And now there is no size in Z because we have only one layer in Z, so this doesn't matter. And particles, let's make them the same thing. Why we did this? Because why we did this values, this exactly, it's because our map that we're gonna use it has this resolution, so we won't have problems if we had the same size as the map we're gonna use after. You're gonna see what I'm talking about when I go to layer maps, color and alpha. So let's choose this layer, which is particle map, and let's map it over X and Y. So now we got the color from here. We got the color, all the colors from here. Since there's no background, there's nothing here, it, it takes the same thing. There's nothing, it's, it's probably just black here. It's taking black probably in the other areas. What we can do is we can add another solid here. Let's make it orange gray. Just add it below the particles. Here. Okay, we've got something. What else we can do? Yeah. So this will be our shading, our shadow, for example. You can either have it as a shadow or as a reflection. If you would have it as a shadow, so let's make it a reflection. Let's have it just as a reflection, which will reflect this thing down. So to do that, we'll go to our particle map, and we'll make our particle. There are two ways to do this. You can either create a camera. So just try to imagine what's happening here. You can either create a camera, and this camera, if we take two views, we will make it look on top. Basically like this. Rotate it. Sorry. As you can see, it gets a bit difficult to control the camera position, have it at the orientation you want. So what I don't prefer using a camera for this effect. I actually use a particular word transform. I go to the particles, the particle layer itself, and go to this. So let's hide everything here. So, and go to word transform. And in word transform, I can rotate our particles. We want to look at them from the top, so it will look like the shadow or whatever is below. It will come from. It will be cousin. It will. It will come in because of this light that's coming on the top. It's this light that will cast that shadow, so it will be like another camera here looking at the shadow. So let's rotate it. It's like we rotate this layer here to give this illusion of shadow. This is an easy way to do it. Not Y, X. lighting. Okay, so we'll go back to our form composition. Let's take a look at the settings we have here. RGB to RGB. Okay. Photo ISO will do 1 and 2. Let's go to audio react. Add particle map since it has the audio, or you could just disable audio for this particle map and add this one. Add the audio track to the composition and add our audio layer. Reactor, and we wanna apply the music to. You can keep it by as it is by default. So map to this place. No, I will map it to the offset in Y. Let's try first offset in Z. Okay, and we will delay it. And the delay should be outward. Z outward. As you can see, I'm just experimenting here, trying to get the look I want. Let's search for a part where you have this music. Okay, nothing happens. Outward. Okay. Let's use again our camera to see how this looks in 3D. I think this is what we're looking for. So let's go ahead and use it. Okay. I get the text. Alright, sorry, I had a text message. So I will just copy these two layers. First of all, I won't have this form on a separate layer. I can take this and copy them on the main composition. And yeah. Let's see. Just do the same thing we did before because it's changed now. So let's choose again our layer map, and let's again go apply our music effect. Same thing we did before. Let's have a look at our music. Let's go to this part, for example. Okay, so let's rotate this in X. And place it down here, for example. So the reason why it gets so bright like this is because it's in additive mode. So let's make it a normal mode. Okay, now we got it normal. And the other thing we want is the particles to be here. So Let's push first this down more. Okay, we could go to particle map and push the particle with word transform in the X towards here. We can push the light too if you want to keep the light in. You can change that after. Alright. It should be like a shadow. So we probably don't need the lights. Okay. Other thing I could do is play with form. Let's try to apply this background here and remove this. Let's see how it would look like. Again, we're just experimenting. So see how things would look like. We can't see too much effect in the music, so probably if we increase the strength, probably too much. That's too much. Ignore. Okay, that's probably better. The other thing we can do, or let's go back, use this background, change its color, probably to some warm color, saturated warm color. Again, just experimenting. Okay, so the other thing we can do is we're working now on the form. Let's reduce the opacity. And let's have a map with maps, an opacity map. Opacity map. You want it to be radial and make it look like this. You want it to fade in the sides actually. Okay. Probably this is much better. And that's what else. Let's increase a little bit of this. And change. I'll play with this. Actually, this doesn't change anything because we already chose the color. So what else we can do? Probably the shading of the form itself to give us an interesting effect. Right. Go back to the map again. We're just this is how it works. This is how I work usually. Mostly when I start a new project, experimental project, I keep experimenting until I get the results I want. It's not something that just ready, already there. It's all experimental. So let's look at our old project. It's probably bigger. let's try to make it bigger. Multiplied by 2. Multiplied by 2. Particles. Multiplied by 2. Multiplied by 2. Increase the opacity. Let's make this probably size map. Let's try it. Okay. So let's see what we got now. Save. There's everything. And of course this is gonna take so long. Very long cylinder. Too much particles. Let's reduce this. It's really too much. Back to the amount we had before. Let's make the size too. Okay, it's better. And let's go also to our particle map. We don't need too much particles. Not much. Keep it this way. Just to speed up our workflow. I will pause for a little bit. Oh, I've noticed that I've actually done a mistake here. As you can see, it's going inward, it should be outward. This is it's in form. Would you react? This should be outwards, so it will be like the effect of water. So let's do the same thing for everything and start preview. I will pause the video. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, so let's just focus on the form now. Let's hide particular and let's focus on this just to speed things up. I'm still not happy with the color, but these things you can change, you can play with, experiment. So first let's try this threshold. This is an audio reaction. Again, I'm gonna pause for a little bit. Probably the delay is too long. Let's try and make it 1. Okay, merge. Pause again. Alright. Okay, it's probably better, but still the color problem. We're gonna see what we can do about that. Let's save everything. So let's take a look at particle inform screen. Seems normal. Just experimenting here. Okay, keep it normal, and let's change the blending mode here. Overall decrease to opacity. No, it's too much. Okay, it's probably better this way. We can also go ahead and take a look at change the color or this, make it a little lighter. Right, change the hue. Just plain here with the colors. Right, I think this is better. Activate particular. Let's see. One thing here is we might have to tweak this since our light is not exactly on the top of this layer. We might have to push this particle a little bit more to the side. Let's see. Okay, I think this way is better. Okay, let's save. Okay, so you got the general idea how to get everything. You could add many effects as much as you want. As I said beginning, we can push the contrast to the subject matter, making the sides more darker. So let's try this. Let's create an adjustment layer and create an eclipse here. Stop here. So I made it subtracted. So I'll focus on here. Something like this. And I will add color correction curves and make it darker. And of course it has these hard edges, we don't want that, we want to feather it. So by revealing the mask options, or just by pressing F, you get the mask feather. And here mask. It's okay. So get the effect. Something like that. Save. pause the video. Alright, let's look at this. Okay, one thing here is that I feel this composition is not really balanced. As you can see here, there's some empty space. There's this space that is useless. So what we can do to fix this? Let's try to push our light to have our highlights inside a bit, and also our background, this high value on this side, this also to this side. And our adjustment layer, tobacco, more. Okay, right, these particles we can push them a little bit to the left. Our light, see. Anyway, you can go beyond this. You can do a lot of different experiments, adding more color. I don't know. You can use any plugin you want, such as this interesting plugin, Colorista. I don't want to get into it right now because that's just you can use a default plugin like curves, push things up even more. It's up to you. Change the whole feel. So up to you. So just don't stop right here. Really, there are obviously many things that you can push forward. There are many things that not accurate here. For example, you could make this shadow even more accurate. You could make it a real reflection. Just keep experimenting. You could play with this water to make it more realistic. Just never stop. Don't stop here. If you wanna learn, if you wanna be professional, don't never stop yourself from what you've learned on the tutorial. Push yourself, get yourself outside of your comfort zone, take a risk, push all the settings. There's nothing to be afraid of. Push any settings you see here. This is nothing to be afraid of at all. Just push things up, and more you experiment, more you will learn. This is very important. So thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope I can do more very soon. So, Assalamu alaikum.